Bristol Community College, Mathematics with Dan Avedikian, Math 132, Calculus with Applications, Section 12.3, Problem 7. This is Section 12.3, Problem number 7. It says find the derivative of f of x equals 1 over 6x plus 7 to the third power. Now, what makes this one a little different than the others is the parentheses with the exponent is going on in the denominator. So now there are two approaches for this, really. You could turn this into a quotient problem like we did in the previous section with a vu prime minus uv prime over v squared, and that will work, but it's not really the most direct path. So the way I would do this is first I would rewrite the problem. So notice, no prime yet, it's still f of x equals, instead of the 6x plus 7 being in the denominator to the third power, I would write 6x plus 7 without a fraction and make the exponent negative 3. So now it's the same function written in a different form, but now it fits my chain rule. Now I have stuff in parentheses to a power. And again, the chain rule says if my function is some stuff in parentheses raised to some power, then the derivative is the power, the n comes down in front of the stuff. You leave the stuff with no prime initially, reduce the exponent by 1, and then multiply times stuff prime. So by writing the function as 6x plus 7 in parentheses raised to the negative 3 power, it fits the format for the chain rule perfectly. The exponent happens to be negative, but that won't slow me down at all. So now I can say f prime of x equals, the first thing I write is my n, my exponent, which is negative 3. And then you set up the parentheses, and I have 6x plus 7, close the parentheses, and now my new exponent for the parentheses is n minus 1. Now again, be careful because it's negative. Your initial thought might be to make the new exponent minus 2, but that would be increasing it by 1. If it's negative 3 and you subtract 1, it goes down to negative 4. Right? You have to take your time and pay attention, be careful. And then we have times stuff prime. So the stuff, the value in the parentheses is 6x plus 7. The stuff prime is really just 6. And again, where that's coming from is the 6x is really a 6x to the first. So because I have an x to the first, the derivative is simply the number in front of the x, which is 6. And then the other part that I'm taking the derivative of is 7. So because it has no x, its derivative is 0. Technically, it's 6 plus 0, so it is 6. That is the answer the way it's written, negative 3 times 6x plus 7 in parentheses to the negative 4th power times 6. But it's almost irresistible to me not to clean this up a little bit. And you don't have to. You could leave it like this and it'd be fine. But let me just add one more line. F prime of x equals the negative 3 and the positive 6 can be multiplied to make a negative 18. So let me put an 18 in the numerator. And I can either make it a negative 18 or put the negative in front of my fraction bar. And notice I set up a fraction bar. So what I'm going to do is the 6x plus 7 to the negative 4th power, if you want, can be put in the denominator. So I'll have 6x plus 7 in parentheses, and when it's in the denominator, the exponent will be positive 4. So if you do want to clean it up, it can be written as a negative fraction with an 18 in the numerator, a 6x plus 7 in parentheses to the 4th power in the denominator.